CBS News breaks the story. President Bush has the U.S. military set to intercept Scud missiles headed for Iran. Hard times for American workers. Unemployment is up again. And Eye on America. Two big industries battling over access to your living room. This is the CBS Evening News. Good evening. Dan Rather reporting. President Bush has ordered the U.S. Navy to prepare for a new confrontation at sea in the Middle East, possibly within the next 2 days. The stated goal is to block a secret shipment of Scud missiles from reaching the Persian Gulf. CBS News correspondent David Martin broke the story. He's at the Pentagon tonight with the details. David?
Dan, administration officials say the U.S. intends to stop, board, and search a North Korean cargo vessel believed to be carrying Scud missiles to Iran. Now, North Korea can still avoid a confrontation if it orders the ship to change course. But based on its last known location, U.S. officials say a boarding could come as early as this weekend if the ship maintains course and speed.
U.S. intelligence has been tracking the ship off and on since it left North Korea. It is now somewhere in the Indian Ocean, and although it has declared itself bound for Africa, U.S. officials believe its real destination is the Iranian port of Bandar Abbas. Once in Iran, the missiles could be transferred to Syria, where they would be in range of Israel. The missiles believed to be on board are a more accurate version of the Scud's Iraq launch during the Gulf War. And the Bush administration is trying hard to stop the introduction of any more ballistic missiles into the Middle East. For the past year and a half, the U.S. Navy has been boarding and searching suspicious cargo ships as part of the continuing United Nations embargo of Iraq. U.S. officials say that under the terms of the UN embargo, they have the right to stop and search the North Korean ship, even though it is not bound for Iraq. If the ship is found to be carrying Scud missiles under false documentation, these officials contend the U.S. would have the right to divert it to another port.
However, the same officials concede the U.S. would have no legal right to divert the ship if it produced a bona fide manifest and correctly identified its cargo as Scud missiles bound for Iran. Dan?
David, set aside the fact that this is happening in an election year, why is President Bush doing this at this time?
Well, one, I think it's a genuine desire to show that it's serious about stopping the spread of these missiles. Two, it satisfies Israel, which is very upset about the prospect of more of these missiles coming into the Middle East. And three, it establishes a track record with North Korea for the day when the crunch comes over North Korea's attempts to build a nuclear weapon.
David Martin, thanks. There has been increasing talk in recent days of an improving economy. There was not much of it today. The Labor Department says unemployment has jumped another 0.2 of a point to its highest level since the summer of '85. 73 out of every 1,000 American workers are out of a job. Our coverage begins with CBS News money correspondent Ray Brady.
Cutbacks announced this week alone. Macy's, 57 of its stores will be closed. Digital equipment, 7,000 employees will be offered early retirement. AT&T, 6,000 operators could be let go over the next 2 years. All trends helping boost today's unemployment rate to 7.3%, the highest in 6.5 years.
I think the job outlook's going to be a tough one this year and probably next. Corporate America is not in a mood to take on a lot of expensive new workers.
Jobs are being lost right across the country. Today's figures show higher unemployment rates in states like New York, New Jersey, Illinois, and California. They are increases already having political repercussions.
Today's figures are very grim. We now are experiencing the highest levels of unemployment in a recession which now has gone on longer than any in the post-war period.
A separate survey shows an increase of 164,000 non-farm jobs. But, say many economists, don't get your hopes up. That's strictly a statistical quirk.
I think a lot of this was probably just a seasonal aberration because the government does make seasonal adjustments in the data every single month.
And that brings up the biggest question of all.
7.3% unemployment. Are we still in the recession? Are we coming out of it? What are we doing?
Well, I think today's numbers, particularly the increase in the unemployment rate to 7.3%, suggest that we're still in a recession and that it might linger for several more months.
There's one bright spot in these figures. They show that workers are putting in longer hours on the job, and that can be a sign that employers may be hiring more workers soon. Ray Brady, CBS News, New York.
This is Ron Allen in Los Angeles. Each sunrise here casts a gloomy shadow at the bottom of the economy, where day laborers compete.
It's very hard to find a job right now.
Right now, I only got like $2, so I need to make some money.
It used to be mainly for Latin American immigrants, many of them illegal and unskilled, standing on corners, hoping to get hired for a few dollars an hour a couple of days a week. But the latest unemployment rate in Los Angeles County is up to almost 10%.
I've done a little painting.
And these days, more and more people like Robert Clark are showing up at city-run hiring sites set up to manage the problem. The fact that he's white and a skilled worker makes him stand out in the crowd.
I've worked at a graveyard digging graves. Another job, we were unloading boxes from a container. Down here, basically, to get whatever is available.
Clark couldn't hang on to his family business, so now he hangs on to a number, waits for an employer to show up, and hopes he hits the day labor lottery.
434, 424! Maybe one out of every 4 or 5 days you find something.
And today's rising unemployment rate means his chances are not likely to get better anytime soon. The fact that even skilled workers are being forced to resort to this type of work is another economic indicator pointed down. In better days, Bruce Davis used to hire day laborers, then became one himself.
When I pulled up to the day labor site, my truck was flooded with a swarm of guys thinking I was hiring, and it's like, hey, I'm looking for a job too.
Even though Davis has since found full-time work, he concedes in this economy, no job is very secure.
I'm not too proud to dig a hole or, work for the $5 an hour if I have to.
Day labor used to be a rung on a job ladder headed up, but the recession has turned it into a stop on the way down. For most of these men, the day will end as it began, no work and no pay. Ron Allen, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Still ahead on the Friday CBS Evening News. The computer world's Michelangelo virus, scattered outbreaks, but not an epidemic. And Sonny is back in the spotlight. And this time, he doesn't have to share.
You know you're gonna knock on there.
Now's the time for Centrum Silver, because you're over 50 and you're out there swinging. Centrum Silver, a complete vitamin formula for your changing nutritional needs. Centrum Silver, it's a great time to be silver.
Things are different. The all-new Grand Am Sports Sedan proves it. Things are better because inside and out, the Grand Am's equipped to perform. And it even gives you better mileage than a Accord or Camry for a whole lot less. In fact, Consumers Digest named the Grand Am a Best Buy. Pontiac's new Grand Am. A new kind of excitement.
Doctor.
Is it right for me? Habitrol.
It's a patch. You know, the patch.
Habitrol.
Habitrol.
You know, Habitrol. It's a patch.
It's new.
Habitrol.
Ask your doctor about Habitrol, nicotine transdermal system.
Thanks, doctor.
This is Michelangelo's birthday, the day a computer virus named after the Renaissance sculptor was supposed to carve up millions of computer programs. Instead, as John Blackstone reports, Michelangelo's masterwork was pretty much a bust.
The first reports this morning fed fears that today could be disastrous for millions who depend on their computers.
6 in New Zealand, 48 in Australia.
In California, computer security expert John McAfee gathered information from around the world on destruction blamed on the Michelangelo computer virus.
In Budapest, we have a hospital that lost 25 systems, including all patient records.
In South Africa, Michelangelo hit hard. There, the electronic virus spread rampantly and somewhat ironically in the computers of hundreds of pharmacists.
In the region of 1,350 PCs have in fact gone through the damage process of Michelangelo.
But in the United States, Michelangelo seems to have been the virus that cried wolf. There were only a few reports of computer memories being destroyed when machines were switched on this morning.
When you turned it on, what happened?
Exactly what you see. Nothing.
At the New Jersey Institute of Technology, hundreds of computers were infected with the virus earlier this week, but by today, when Michelangelo was triggered, all except one had been cured.
But 1 out of 5,000 isn't really bad.
A week ago, this virus was everywhere. For us to now be having just sporadic reports means that the media campaign was a great success.
Thanks to Michelangelo, the past week has been the busiest one ever for companies that sell programs that hunt out and destroy computer viruses.
Yeah, but you need to come down right away because we're running out.
Bye-bye, Michelangelo.
And the scare has given a boost to those developing tighter security systems for all computers.
The technology is there to end the age of the virus. It's kind of like a tamper detection seal that you find on some products in stores.
Computer security experts say the Michelangelo virus has provided the most potent warning yet that these are dangerous times in the information age, that all computer users have to start practicing safe software. John Blackstone, CBS News, San Francisco.
The U.S. government is negotiating its first contract with former Soviet scientists. The Department of Energy is hiring more than 100 scientists at an institute in Moscow. They will continue their research into nuclear fusion and supply results to the United States. Fusion is potentially a cheap, clean, and abundant source of energy. Soviet nuclear weapons are now officially under the control of the new Commonwealth of Independent States. Conventional forces are not. The Red Army, a few months ago the biggest army in the world, is breaking into pieces. Correspondent Anthony Mason reports from Ukraine.
Colonel Adam Chikal is a model of Soviet military training. Graduate of a Moscow military academy, a hero in Afghanistan. But the tank training base he was assigned to command is now in independent Ukraine. And my commander, he says, is now the Ukrainian Minister of Defense. The armor may be Soviet-made, but these tanks do not belong to the Commonwealth. This is the new Ukrainian army. While the commander of the Commonwealth's armed forces is trying to preserve a unified military, here in Ukraine, the army has already decided it's not taking orders from Moscow anymore. At the Defense Ministry in Kiev, General Konstantin Morozov insists all of the more than 500,000 soldiers based in Ukraine are now under his command. And Ukraine, he says, will not be part of any military alliance. Soldiers here, whatever their nationality, are now asked to take an oath. I swear to defend the freedom and independence of Ukraine without hesitation. But some have hesitated. 21-year-old Vitaly Levinets refused. I'm Russian, he says, and all the Russians in this platoon decided not to take the oath. Vitaly will soon return to Russia. Boris Yeltsin has grudgingly let the Ukrainians go their own way, but he's still fighting Ukraine's claim to the Black Sea Fleet. The admiral in charge of the Ukrainian Coast Guard is adamant. Ukraine has a full right to have its own navy. In a Kiev workshop, designers are already fashioning the military's future. The new National Guard uniform will be Ukrainian blue and yellow. Says the supervisor, all Soviet influences will be gone. Ukraine is marching its military out of the Commonwealth, and many predict the country itself may soon follow. Anthony Mason, CBS News, Berdichev, Ukraine.
Stay with us now for more CBS News, including a story of a crime and punishment, rape and castration.
Simon, I've got a clogged drain. What do I do?
I've got a hardware store full of things you could try. But I just got something in that's so strong, so fast, is all you need. New Liquid Drano Professional Strength Plus. New Drano Plus has a unique, thick formula with more power than the leading competitor. That's a plus. So much power, it churns and busts through clogs in half the time. Another plus. Don't mess with anything else.
I won't.
Thicker, stronger, faster. That's the plus in New Drano Plus.
My hemorrhoids hurt so much, I was afraid I needed surgery. But my doctor said they weren't serious, and it's time I used Preparation H.
Preparation H helps shrink swelling of inflamed hemorrhoidal tissues and often relieves pain, itching, and burning for hours. Doctor recommended Preparation H.
And now, from the makers of Preparation H, with a formula developed by a surgeon, comes new, soothing, alcohol-free Preparation H cleansing tissues. They clean and refresh after hemorrhoid attacks. New cleansing tissues from the makers of doctor-recommended Preparation H.
Grandma's got a date. What's a date?
Closeness. You might hesitate if you wore a diaper. So Johnson & Johnson created Serenity Guards
Bladder control protection so advanced, it holds as much as something 5 times its size and stays dry, locking liquid in. And now there's a new Serenity Guard, Super Plus, with even more super absorbance. So if you've been looking for extra protection, give yourself hugs for discovering new Serenity Super Plus.
What did Ray Copeland and his wife Faye do on their farm that makes them the oldest man and woman on death row? Watch 60 Minutes. Everybody else does.
Few crimes cause more outrage than the sexual abuse of a child. What is a fitting punishment for the crime? As James Hattori reports, the Houston solution, agreed to in a courtroom today, is adding fuel to that controversy.
Stephen Allen Butler today volunteered to be castrated rather than face up to life in prison for raping a 13-year-old girl. The judge says he'll grant Butler 10 years deferred adjudication, essentially probation, if he undergoes the procedure.
Reduce sex drive is exactly what I think it will do, and possibly any aggressive tendencies.
Butler is already on probation for indecency with a child. Judge Mike McSpadden, who says conventional sentences haven't worked, has been an outspoken advocate of castration.
They say this is the first time in 20 years they've seen them scared of anything down here, so we know it's a deterrent.
There are some studies out of Northern Europe which would indicate that it is effective as a punishment as far as decreasing people's sexual desires.
Even though it's voluntary in this case, many experts consider castration cruel and ineffective against a crime often motivated by power as well as sexual desire.
Castration is not going to give somebody a conscience, is not going to give somebody empathy, and may, in the long run, make further assault even more possible.
Before his operation, Butler will get counseling to make sure he realizes castration, unlike a criminal conviction, cannot be reversed. James Hattori, CBS News, Dallas.
One of the giants of the broadcasting industry and a member of our CBS family has died. Robert Hyland, Senior Vice President of CBS Radio and General Manager of KMOX, St. Louis. Through 4 decades, Hyland was an innovator in broadcasting with a heavy emphasis on news, public service, and commitment to the community. Robert Hyland was 71. Coming up next, Eye on America. Tonight, your future is on the line, but will it be a phone line or a cable company?
I love performing, though it's a lot more fun with an audience. I love sweet things, too, like Sunsweet pitted prunes. They're so tasty and fat-free. It's love, all right. It's Sunsweet.
Hey, Al, you're home.
Thank you for a lovely dinner.
Aren't you going to ask me in? For coffee?
Well, I do have taster's choice.
Then how can I refuse?
Savor the sophisticated taste of Taster's Choice.
Well...
Just one more cup?
You said that 2 cups ago.
You know how much I love your coffee.
Then, by all means, take it with you.
Here's the problem. You need to remodel your house, but you don't know if you'll ever get to do it. Because in between need and get is a gap called not enough money. Well, it's easy to bridge that gap between need and get. Just go to First Interstate Bank, because First Interstate offers home improvement loans, car loans, and secured lines of credit at our lowest rates in years. So to go from need to get, just go to First Interstate Bank, and we'll help you get what you need.
Saturday, it's conference crunch time when Seton Hall takes on St. John's, and Sunday, Villanova battles Syracuse, and second-ranked Indiana takes on Michigan's Fab Five this weekend on CBS.
Now we're going to take you to tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow is already here. Well, not right here. Actually, it's in Cerritos, California. Correspondent Wyatt Andrews went there for tonight's Eye on America.
Randy and Betty Hyatt have the living room of the future. A future where you may never again go to the video store or wait for a cable movie to start. You'll just dial a movie up, start and stop it whenever you're ready, all without a VCR.
Okay.
Let's play this one.
When it's bill-paying time, that too you'll do on TV.
Sure, let's pay the Edison bill.
The Hyatts are part of an experiment in Cerritos, California, where the phone company has special FCC permission to dabble in television. GTE has rewired parts of Cerritos with fiber optic, that tiny strand of glass capable of replacing every other wire that comes into the home, and makes this video future possible.
It'll tell you if you're right.
But the Hyatt living room is in the center of an economic war. The nation's phone companies, in a fight with the cable industry, want the right to sell you fiber optic cable TV.
What that means for you is that the cable companies will be compelled to respond to competition. Their prices and hours will be kept low. Service quality will go up. Americans will have a choice.
Yellow pages for San Diego.
The telephone companies, or telcos, are selling a fiber optic vision right out of Star Trek. A day when your telephone, television, and personal computer become the same toy. You talk to it, it works.
Baby furniture.
But cable TV is fighting phone company competition with a frightening vision. Cable warns that if the phone company is your only source of communication and your key source of information, welcome Big Brother.
They want to be the ones to pick what you see and when you see it and how much you'll pay for it. In the meantime, they might crush cable, they might crush the newspaper industry. You'll never get them back.
Also, how much can you trust the phone company not to stick you, the telephone user, with the cost for video services?
My grandma would be stuck, potentially with $10 more a month on the telephone bill, in order for the telcos to pursue their fiber optic dream.
Cable TV may have some powerful arguments against telephone competition, but cable's main problem is, look who's talking. In most areas of the country, cable, too, is a monopoly, and in many areas, it's cable that has the reputation for price gouging and poor service.
We are very dissatisfied with the cable company.
Cindy Martin watches hours of cable TV, but there with her old wired remote, she just doesn't trust cable to bring her the future.
We should, I guess, hand the box back to them, but you either like what they provide and the way they do things, or you do without cable.
The best way to address those problems is to tell this monopoly, look, we're going to bring in some competition for you.
The phone company.
Absolutely.
Congress, meanwhile, is considering competition, allowing the phone companies into TV if they open the fiber optic network to competitors and promise not to charge phone customers for building it.
The advantages of this new competition are just fabulous. For the consumer who wants his or her child to be able to plug into the Library of Congress instead of playing Nintendo.
Let's say hi, Mr. Bridgette's class.
Betty Hyatt, as a second-grade teacher, uses the same technology in class that she has at home, making video phone calls to other classes. The gift here, she says, is access.
I spent a year in Klondike region of...
Connecting classrooms or the living room to any library, video, book, or movie at will. And now, two public industries with the most questionable records for customer service, the phone company and cable TV, are in a $1 trillion fight for the loyalty of the customers of the future.
We think it's Jack London.
In Cerritos, California, Wyatt Andrews for Eye on America.
Our dentist recommended baking soda.
But we wanted tartar control.
Arm & Hammer Dental Care gives us both.
Now Arm & Hammer Dental Care just introduced the only tartar control toothpaste with baking soda.
And brushing with baking soda...
Or baking soda toothpaste.
...is recommended by 2 out of 3 dentists to help provide healthy teeth and gums.
Only Arm & Hammer Dental Care gives us the tartar control we want.
And the baking soda our dentist recommends.
New Arm & Hammer Dental Care tartar control.
From the baking soda experts.
I get that right? That's perfect.
Back in 5, Stephanie?
When you're trying to eat right, days like this are a disaster.
Is this it?
Stephanie Powers talks about Kellogg's Nutri-Grain.
The only time I really control what I eat is at breakfast, and the whole grain in Kellogg's Nutri-Grain gives me a natural start. No sugar added, no preservatives, nothing fake. No matter what I eat later, at breakfast I call the shots.
Naturally good. Nutri-Grain, the natural place to start.
Fingerman on location for the one and only Ziploc. Freezer burn. That's a chilling thought.
To protect your food, there is nothing like Ziploc brand freezer bags. Ziploc has the Gripper Zipper, the only bag with tough, tiny teeth. You can feel it gripping, so you know freshness is locked in, freezer burns locked out. That's a good feeling you only get from Ziploc. I gotta get some gloves. For fresh food, there's only one, Ziploc.
Some days my minor arthritis acts up, and I really feel the pain. I used to take aspirin. Now I've switched to Advil. Advil relieves the pain in my stiff joints. In fact, one Advil is as effective as 2 regular aspirin. And Advil is gentler to my stomach. Maybe that's why doctors recommend Advil for minor arthritis pain more than any other brand. For my pain, I simply prefer Advil. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
Finally tonight, a look at a local politician who wants to make it on the national scene. Not as president, but as a U.S. Senator from California. Here's a clue. He's a Republican, and he doesn't wear bell-bottoms anymore. Richard Roth reports.
I got you, babe.
His claim to fame was a string of hit songs 20 years ago and a talent on national TV for getting picked on by his wife.
Sonny Bono was fantastic in Vegas, super in New York, and dynamic in Los Angeles, and boring at home.
Now he's at it again. Sonny Bono's playing the straight man.
I intend to replace Alan Cranston as your next senator from California.
Seriously.
It's a public hearing item.
After 4 years as mayor of Palm Springs, Sonny Bono has a new ambition. Running as a conservative for the Republican Senate nomination, he hopes to turn his enormous name recognition into respect.
You're the man, Sonny.
Thank you.
So he's trying to build credibility. He's attracted a high-powered campaign organization from Washington and needs it. According to the polls, while he's the best-known candidate, he's the least favored.
What makes Sonny think that someone from California entertainment industry can succeed in national politics?
He thinks it because it's been done before. And even before Ronald Reagan, there was song and dance man George Murphy in the Senate. California has a tradition of performer politicians.
You look at show business as fun and games. We look on it as a very important industry. So axiomatically, an entertainer is not a clown out here.
But not necessarily a slick politician either. Bono says he's running as the common man of California, fed up with politics as usual.
We're all sitting around going, you know, and meanwhile, statistically, we all know we're at the bottom of the charts on statistics. See?
Part of the new image, a new family with his fourth wife, Mary. I'm not that guy anymore from the old TV show, says Sonny. And what about Cher? Well, she's not commenting on Sonny's campaign, but at least she's not picking on him anymore. Richard Roth, CBS News, Palm Springs.
That's part of our world tonight.
As Crosby, Stills, and Nash reunite for an acoustic concert, taped during their 1991 tour. And at 11, their sometime partner Neil Young follows in an Austin City Limits special.
I wanna live, I wanna give.
Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, just for you. Spring for OPB. Saturday night, it's where you belong.
Funding for the McNeil-Lehrer News Hour has been provided by ODS Health Plan, the group medical plan that meets the needs of more than 600,000 Oregonians by providing a broad range of medical and dental coverage and responsive service.